Hi, lovers and leaders. Welcome to another time with me, Dr. Sarah. So, with this video, I want to focus for a few minutes about conflict resolution. I want you to think about what I'm about to say to you right now and take it in for a few minutes. So, have you ever considered that the way you were disciplined as a child, all right, from your caregivers, some of you as your parents or grandparents or uncles or aunts, right, etc. Have you ever considered the way you were disciplined as a child, right, is actually the way that you conflict resolute today, the way you handle conflict? I'm going to say it again. Have you ever considered the way you were disciplined as a child is the way you handle conflict today? So if you were in a household, for example, where your caregiver was just kind of shut down, or ignored you, actually shut down, ignored you, if they were upset with you and they didn't talk to you at all. So now in adulthood, all right, what do? All right, you model that, very subconscious, but the program is still there, right? If you haven't addressed it. So you too, with your spouse or a friend or your kids or even in the workplace, right? When you're upset, you shut down, you keep silent. I mean, what do they call it today? Ghosting, right? You do all of that. Have you considered the way you were disciplined as a child is literally leading you still? The little child in you is still activated to do that. How about if you were in a household where there was a lot of screaming at you? I don't know, to do the dishes, right? That's how you were disciplined, like raising the voice, screaming even, right? So how do you deal with conflict today as an adult? Yeah, you raise up that voice. You raise up that voice, right? Is that little child still taking control, right? You could be in the workplace too, um, pretty loud, all right? You could be very abrasive even, right? That programming is running the show, right? Um, so you could have been in a household where you were disciplined by spanking, right? Spanking a lot, right? And then in adulthood, right? You're in relationships, could be in marital relationships. How do you handle conflict? You are ready, like you buck up, okay? Yeah, even a woman out there, you buck up, ready to slap somebody, ready to push somebody. I mean, if it gets to that place, you are ready. Isn't that just crazy though? And when I say crazy, I just mean I feel so bad that first of all, that happened to most of us anyway, right? When people don't know better, they just don't do better, right? So this video is wanting you to just have the blind spot in your life. If you've wondered why you handle conflicts a certain way, but you just don't know how to change, because I'm sure many of you have really tried to address this, right? Um, but you just don't have the tools to shift and to change. And somebody has been complaining the way you actually respond in conflict, but what they don't know, they don't hold space for, it could have been actually the way you were disciplined, and that program is still there and it hasn't been addressed yet. And until it gets addressed, then you will choose a new way how to resolve conflicts. But I want to hold space for you out there in YouTube land, YouTube world, that God sees your heart. He holds space and gives you grace and gives you time to heal, because you need to be healed. The inner child is still active, right? And he or she hasn't been addressed yet. How you were disciplined was incorrect. It was incorrect. Um, it was very, with the examples I've given right now, it was very much about the caregiver, and it wasn't about you. All right? It wasn't about you. So in turn, when you're in conflict, you do the same thing. Even though you may be hurt, there may be a legit reason why you're upset and you're, emoting the way you're been emoting. You're also not being considerate of the person that you're dealing with. It's very much about yourself. Take that in. Give me something in the comment section if this is resonating with you. Take that in. Because just like many of us who are in that space of still wanting to blame our caregivers, right? That won't work really, because you'll still stay stuck, right? You'll still stay stuck there. And what relationships really need is for the person that is not conflicting and resolving conflict the right way is to take that responsibility when you're aware of it, because some of you, just me even saying what I'm saying so far is new to you. It's that blind spot. Now the light is shining on that blind spot for many of you. Okay. So when you are aware that this is why you resolve conflict, or you think you resolve conflict a particular way, there's a reason for that. There's a root. There was a foundation that was just cracked and not addressed. Right? Not addressed. They didn't consider you, your feelings, your emotional stability, your physical stability, physical safety, and now you're passing on that same mental programming to maybe your children, maybe to your spouse, girlfriend, boyfriend, somebody that you work with. It's being passed along, and they're looking at you like, why is she or why is he doing that? And then they will start saying to themselves, if they're also not healed, blaming you too. But that would be a waste of time as well. Okay? Because if you don't know that this is why you're doing it, you can't get the healing that you need. All right? So there is definitely a way out. Is first really coming to grips that the way you are handling conflict is not healthy. It's not creating a healthy environment that people can actually have healthy relationships. And what is health? What does it really look like? People are at peace. People are joyful. People feel safe to ask questions. People are humble to receive feedback, right? People can bounce back from a disagreement. You can tussle. Hey, you could tussle. I'm okay for a little tussle, but I'm always about, can we reconcile and get back to the relationship? Can we get back? And those that try to resolve conflict or just get into a conflict without consideration, like holding space for the other person's soul, their heart, their mind, they're people that only consider themselves. They just want to dump on you, and hopefully you fix the situation for them, right? And that's what sometimes our caregivers did in their immaturity, right? And lack of knowledge, lack of training of how to have relationships, right? Lack of the right role model, to be fair, right? And they thought what they were doing was correct. Or maybe they did realize it was wrong, but they just didn't have the tools, right? So what are you going to do? The first thing is to, first of all, before any type of healing happens and resolve happens as an adult, all right, you really need to validate yourself that, yeah, the way I am in conflict is not working. Let's just do a quick check. Look at your history of how you've dealt with conflict. Were you able to rebound back in a peaceful way in a relationship? Did the other person want to reconcile back with you? Yes or no? Yes or no? If on another side, when somebody was in conflict with you and again, very disrespectful, for example, did you want to reconcile with them? Yes or no? Yes or no? Let me know in the comment section. Yes or no, right? So if we want to save our relationships, we've got to save ourselves first. forreal.com. We have to save ourselves first and stop looking like, uncontrollable uh, people out there, okay? Just crazy folks, all right? I want to also validate you that, again, the way you were handled, the way you were taught how to um, respond to um, disappointment, or the way you were taught how to ask for something, the way you were taught how to give instruction, right, was not all the way healthy at all. All right. For many of you, it was very aggressive, very abrasive, just very toxic, right? Very toxic. But I want to highlight to you that if you haven't addressed your past, those seeds have planted already in your subconscious, and you will unconsciously be doing the same thing. Just ask the people in your household. And again, like I said, just check your history of relationships and how that's been going. It wasn't your fault. It wasn't your fault. All right. But today, as an adult, it is your responsibility to fix it. And the first thing I will share with you, okay, in this video is, and the only thing I'll share with you in this video is that to resolve conflict, be considerate of the heart and soul and the mind of the person you're speaking with. Be considerate and ask yourself, do you want to save this connection? Do you want to save this relationship? Is this relationship valuable enough for you to say to yourself, I am going to respond in a healthy way. I'm not going to react out of that childhood wound. Not this time. So that's two things I've given you. All right. Be considerate of the other person and make an internal decision that you will no longer react from that childhood unaddressed wound. All right. Not this time. Instead, you're going to make a decision to respond healthily because you've made a decision within yourself that you actually want to save the relationship. Now, if you don't want to save it, well, keep on going. Keep on going. The foundation of that relationship, if you keep being, responding in a very curt way, it's going to get weakened, right? The foundation of that relationship is going to get weakened. And guess what? The whole house just collapses. The whole relationship collapses. Now, I do have services in the link in my description box where I provide one-on-one services with you, coaching with you, or mentorship, whereby we will dig deep, all right, from a Christian perspective, and some psychological principles, but mostly Christian perspective, about how to rewire, okay, your mind about childhood wounds and conflict resolution, all right, because that child needs to be addressed. That child was abandoned emotionally, but you as an adult will not abandon yourself, will you? Okay, let me know in the comment section. This time around, you will not abandon yourself like you were abandoned emotionally before. All right. So I really hope that these 2 points and the other points I've made really start to open up your mind in some, blind spots you had about yourself. Okay. Because there is light at the end of the tunnel. There is solution, but it really starts with you, and also acknowledging you as well as the person you're in a relationship with. Until next time, stay blessed, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.